Another viewer request this week, and if you want to make a request, let me know in the comments, and if I have the film or have access to it, I'll almost certainly give it a review at some point. So let's take a look back at Demons, which is a 1985 Italian horror film directed by Lamberto Bava and produced by Dario Argento. Demons is a perfect slice of 5-star Euro horror midnight madness featuring punks, puss-spewing fluid-dripping demons, and a motorcycle samurai swording set-piece, all set in a cinema. But before I get ahead of myself, let's start at the very beginning. Lamberto Bava, the son of legendary giallo director Mario Bava, was considering filming an anthology horror film similar to his father's movie Black Sabbath, based on a story written by Dario Argento. He preferred one of the 3 stories over the other 2 though, one where monsters came to life, leaving the screen and attacking the audience in a cinema. He took this as inspiration and started to develop it into a full feature. Originally, Bava and Sacchetti took the script to producer Fabrizio De Angelis, but he wanted to use footage from Lucio Fulci's films as the film within the film to cut costs. So they took the script to Luciano Martino, who suggested they produce the film themselves. Luckily for Bava, Dario Argento, fresh off his success with Phenomena, wanted to get back into producing as he had done previously with Dawn of the Dead. Met with Bava and agreed to produce the movie, with the final script having contributions from Bava, Sacchetti, Argento and Franco Ferrini. It was shot on location in Berlin and at the Di Paoli Studios in Rome, taking 9 weeks to shoot. On release, it was a huge financial success in Italy, being the 39th highest grossing film of the year, earning over 1.2 billion Italian lira, being released a year later in various international markets, but never receiving a UK release as this was cancelled for some bizarre reason. Even more insanely, it is known as Demons 2 in Germany, and the actual sequel, Demons 2, is known as Demons. The insane and confusing way Italian movies from this period are titled never ceases to amaze me. Critical reception has over the years been mixed, with Tim Brayton stating in 2007, "A movie that can support the descriptions, awesome and stupid in equal measure." I am very much on the "this movie is awesome" side of that argument. The plot does not mess about. The premise and the characters are all set up within the first 10 to 15 minutes, and the demons arrive after no more than 25. Our leading lady, Cheryl, played by Natasha Hovey, is given a ticket to a movie screening at a cinema she's never heard of by a silent man in a creepy ass mask. So she obviously asks for one more as she's meeting her friend. They bunk off college, attend the movie showing, and we are introduced to the rest of our cast of characters. Tony the pimp and 2 of his whores, a blind man and his infomaniac companion, and 2 young yuppies intent on getting into Cheryl and her friend's undies, George and Ken. In the foyer of the cinema there is a mannequin sitting on a motorcycle, holding a samurai sword that has a creepy mask hanging off it, which one of the hoes tries on, cutting herself in the process. Once our cast start watching the movie they were given free tickets to, it is pretty obvious that yep, Rosemary, our hoe, is going to turn into a demon, just like the people on the screen, and that's exactly what happens. From there, it is just a matter of one-upping the chaos and action horror set pieces, turning more and more of the cast of characters and general audience into demons, until the ending, where a literal helicopter falls through the goddamn ceiling. It's a fairly simple but intriguing and entertaining premise and plot, which is very well set up and executed, with the real bones of the entertainment coming from the splatter, gore and action horror set pieces. The transformations from human to demon are gross as all hell and really well done, with green pus oozing out of wounds and people's mouths, prosthetic hands and heads having nails and teeth force their way out of them, whilst buckets full of gore increasingly coat everything, with each kill being ever more gory. It's just all so wonderfully disgusting. The set pieces are increasingly ramped up, with the best of course being the motorcycle samurai scene, where George rides a dirt bike across and around the cinema, chopping, slicing and dicing various demons. Then a helicopter falls through the roof. It never lets up and is incredibly entertaining. The characters themselves are essentially one-note, one-line caricatures, with Tony the Pimp, played by Bobby Rhodes, being the standout, channeling his inner Shaft. Never really matters either, with the writers clearly being well aware of this. They had a blind man attending the cinema, for God's sake, as an ironic joke. He also ironically is the only person who sees what is happening, even before the demons start showing up. Heck, we even get a scene where punks snort coke out of a coke can. I don't think you can get more on the nose than that. Like with all Italian films from this period, we have an international cast, speaking various languages on set that are then dubbed in post, which of course gives the performances that signature style which many interpret as awful incompetence, but I very much just think adds another layer of charm and hilarity to the whole affair. Although to be fair, some of the dialogue is hilariously incomprehensible, and almost like they stuck the original Italian into a proto-Google Translate, translated it into Chinese, then into English. The soundtrack is also notable for having a rock, punk and heavy metal vibe to it, which just tops off the cheeseball insanity on screen. I can't recommend Demons enough as a perfect example of an 80s midnight Italian horror flick, where the writer seemingly just sat down and went, fuck it, how do we top the last set piece? Where literally nothing on show makes any sense, but it really doesn't matter because god damn it, it is so fun and entertaining, and then a helicopter falls through the roof. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed that and you feel like sticking around, because next week it is John Carpenter's Dark Star, the inspiration behind the Alien franchise. Well, one of them.